Welcome to Style DNA, the podcast I created to uncover the lives behind the looks of your favourite well-known faces and help unveil their style DNA. As a designer, I've always been inspired by the premise that wearing the right pieces should make you feel the best version of yourself, gorgeous and confident, and that these pieces should be designed and crafted for longevity. I'm delighted to share that this episode is supported by Karen Millen, a brand that has a 42-year legacy in the world of fashion. Their commitment to affordable luxury and making investment pieces accessible has truly stood the test of time. Whether you're searching for a timeless winter coat that will serve you for years to come, or an elegant evening dress, you'll find both classic and modern designs that are perfect for refreshing your wardrobe for the season ahead. Online at karenmillen.com. Head over to my Instagram for a link to a special treat for listeners. Today, I'm going on a sartorial journey with TV and radio presenter, model, author, menopause campaigner, podcast host, and Celebrity MasterChef winner, the wonderful Lisa Snowdon.
Oh, it's so good to see you.
Hello and welcome, Lisa.
Thank you, lovely.
Great to see you.
So lovely. We're finally sitting down to talk.
I know, it's only taken us, 8 months to get this in the diary? Mm-hmm. But I am thrilled to have you here, particularly as just earlier this year you published your first book, Just Getting Started, Lessons in Life, Love and Menopause, dedicated to all the women in the world. I love the spirit of this book, and I particularly love the reference to Chinese medicine and how in the Chinese culture they believe that during menopause the energy needed for our uterus for growing a baby becomes free to travel to the heart, generating renewal, a rebirth, a deeper wisdom. A time for a spiritual reconnection with oneself. In other words, the menopause is a time for you. This is a beautiful way to express this new phase of a woman's life. I love the way you start with this. In our society, there are so many negative connotations with aging and menopause, both of which are seen to be pretty unsexy, but this sentiment is so positive. So thank you. I get the feeling that writing this book was quite a cathartic experience.
100%. Absolutely loved it. It was so much easier than I thought it was going to be because I had it all there. And it was cathartic. I did get a little bit more personal than I thought I was going to, but it just felt like the right time. It really did. And there was just so much that I wanted to put in there for women and for everybody, because there's advice for loved ones too. It was such a tricky time to navigate for me, and I just wanted it to be part memoir, part self-help manual, so that it could shortcut women's diagnosis, because some women go undiagnosed or misdiagnosed for years and years and years, and they spend so much money trying to find out what's wrong with them. I wanted it to be the manual that I never had, and just be there to kind of keep going back to if you needed to.
God, I wish you'd written it 10 years ago, is all I can say. But it is a wonderful sort of manual for life. And so much of the book resonated with me, actually. And as a childless woman, too, I found your story of not having children particularly moving and inspiringly positive. I wish this topic wasn't such an elephant in the room.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
It is.
I think, society just, if you don't go down the traditional route. And I'm not married either, so it's, so they're like, you're not married, you haven't got kids, what's wrong with you? It's been challenging. There's been a lot of negativity surrounding that, a lot of questions, a lot of people don't quite understand. But that's why I also wanted to write the book, because you never know what's going on behind closed doors. You never know somebody's story. And people can be really flippant, really unkind. We can be really unkind to ourselves. And so, we need to just be nicer to each other and just to look at the bigger picture. And say,
I think so too, and I think great that you put it out there, and I think it's a conversation that needs to be had more and more.
Yeah, and I've never felt comfortable enough to speak to a journalist about it, even though they've obviously approached me over the years multiple times, but I never felt like I wanted to tell anybody my story, and it felt like the right time to put it out there in my words.
Yeah, you can totally own it.
Take ownership of that completely.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
We first met back in 1993, I'm going to remind you, decades ago.
Oh my gosh.
In my tiny salon show. Am I correct in thinking that was your first show?
It was my first fashion show.
I had
You were the
no idea
You were
at
the
the time.
first designer to give me a break because I don't know. You were so encouraging and also enthusiastic about women and their bodies, rather than us. And it was waif. That was the waif movement. That was androgyny at its finest.
It was heroin
chic, baby. And I was like, I was slim still, but I did have these boobs, and I was like, I don't fit into any of this season. And you were the one that gave me my break.
But I remember the casting director being so excited and about you being the next big thing, and how exciting it was that we were going to have you on the catwalk.
Oh, I didn't know
first.
that.
Yes. But I didn't realise this was your very, very first show. And everyone was barefoot, so it wasn't like you had to navigate heels or anything like that.
No.
It was very chilled, wasn't it?
It was super chilled, and I've got a photo of that. I posted it not too long ago, actually, because I found it on the internet. I'd love to. Have you got any more footage of any of those shows?
Do you know what? I tried to find that lookbook the other day. I will find it at some point.
And is there any actual video footage?
I don't think so. I think it was pre
shame.
us videoing. I mean, it's such a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if my memory serves me right, you closed that show wearing a cream pearl embroidered crepe maxi dress, and you filled it in all the right places. It was just glorious. I mean, the modelling world has changed so much. Do you think in a good way?
In a good way. It's still not where it needs to be, but I think people are trying, making baby
What ways
steps.
do you think it's changed in a good way?
Well, obviously there's more inclusivity. I like to think it's less seedy, perhaps, because it was quite seedy, different territories for me, like Paris and Milan. It was like, I was just like, I want to come home. I think it's less manipulative. But, I'm sure there's stuff that still goes on, that you don't know
Did you
about.
have any particular nasties?
I felt a lot of pressure when I was in Paris to schmooze and to socialise and to go out with clients and, rich older men, and it just never sat well with me, and I would always make up some elaborate excuse. They were like, you must come out to dinner tonight, we have this client in town, and I was like,
And was that the agency?
Yeah, that was the agency.
Wow.
Yeah,
that wouldn't go down today.
No,
would
you
it?
can't do that today.
So agents pressuring you to go out to dinner, and what on the weight front?
Yeah, so I remember, and that's why it was so refreshing to do your show. You didn't once look at me and say, that your figure's not going to work, or you're not going to fit my clothes. You were just, that's what I meant. You were so encouraging and so happy and enthusiastic and embracing a woman's physique. Whereas in Paris, I'd go and I'd be booked for shows, and I'd run to my rail and I'd look and it'd be like a wisp of material, and I was like, and then I got booked for jobs and then got cancelled because I just was too curvy, in their words, which when I look back, I really wasn't curvy at all. I just had little boobs.
You really weren't. I mean,
No.
you had a washboard stomach.
Yeah. Abs of my abs were like, and, I didn't even do anything back then. Didn't even have to work out. I just had this amazing six pack. So yeah, it was quite tricky. And then in Milan, I remember them measuring me and taking me into the toilet and measuring me, saying, you've got to lose weight, and you've got to lose weight from here. And I was like,
You were tiny.
Yeah.
And how do you lose weight from your bosom?
exactly.
Sorry.
Can you just sort of say, okay, I'm not going to eat bread, and then my boobs will shrink? Like, there's no way that you can do that. And it just didn't sit well with me. I just went back to the apartment, the pensione, and just made a big bowl of pasta, and then thought, right, I'm getting a flight home. I loved my food. I still love my food. I'm not going to...
Yeah, Celebrity MasterChef winner. Hello. But I'm loving seeing more representation of our generation now in the modelling world. Because let's face it, at our age, she says very generously to me, women can feel pretty invisible.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear your views on being a model again.
Well, I haven't really stopped. I've just continued because I love that whole process. I love being on a shoot. I love the glam. I love the lighting. I love the whole creative process. I really enjoy it. So luckily for me, throughout my career, modelling into kind of TV, presenting into radio, I've still managed to shoot different campaigns and carry on with that. But the book is called Just Getting Started because in my early 40s, obviously with all the perimenopause symptoms that I went through, and I've been really vocal about that, and I was very lost for quite a few years. And there were jobs that I was saying no to. There was some TV I just couldn't even bring myself to do, hosting jobs, couldn't rely on my memory anymore. And then I got to 50 and people were like, oh, you're turning 50 now. What's going to happen? You know, you're just going to fade into the background or just retire. And I was like, no, I felt at 50, the strongest I'd felt in years. I kind of got a handle on all my perimenopause symptoms. I felt really good in myself. I knew the little tips and tricks I needed to do in order to kind of hack my hormones and feel good, you know, get my weight gain down, because obviously I put on a lot of weight through the menopause. And so when I turned 50, I was like, this is my second spring. I am just getting started. Do not try and put me on a shelf in the background and just fade into the distance. So that's kind of where I'm at now. And that's why I want to champion women as they're getting older to step into their second spring and see this as a new positive phase in their life. You know, we don't look like we did when we were 25. I don't feel like I did when I was 25. And I'm happy about that because we're older, we're wiser. Yeah. And I think it's that time to reconnect with yourself and have this kind of self-acceptance and be proud of who you are and where you've come from. All of the warts and all of the battle scars that we've kind of carried with us.
Don't we wish we knew back then what we know now?
Yes, exactly. All of that heartache and all of that comparison, and it was just such a waste of time picking holes in ourselves. And when the scheme of things, it's just, life's really short. I'm 51 now. How did that happen? If I'm going to continue to be at odds and uncomfortable with who I am, then such a waste.
Yep.
So I'm going to jump in feet first and grab life by the balls.
So book launched, fantastic. Celebrity MasterChef winner. What other little projects have you got on this year?
You know what? I'm just saying yes to everything.
Fantastic.
But at the same time, having a nice balance, because I think that, you know, when you get a little older, you have to just get that kind of work-life balance kind of down a little bit more. So there's a documentary series that I'm hoping to produce later on in the year, and it is all about menopause and nutrition and also different cultures, how the different cultures deal with the menopause, and how some of it is seen as such a positive, and the different kind of cultures help each other.
Hurrah to that.
Yeah.
Love that.
But like just globally how different it is, and so that's something that I'm really excited about. I might have another book in me, who knows? Lots more stuff with women's health and hopefully helping women to feel good in themselves and to get the right help. Because just a little blip, it's just a little phase in our lives, you know, and then we can just...
But it can be a surprisingly long blip.
Yeah. Well,
before you get it sorted.
Well, yeah, because now we know a lot more than we did sort of 10 years ago, 9 years ago. So a lot of women are kind of like, this could, because there's 60 different symptoms and counting with the perimenopause. And it was... traditionally it was like your periods stop, you have a hot flush, and they were the only real kind of symptoms or the signs, the warning signs. And also women used to think that it happened way earlier in the future. So it was somebody who didn't look like us. It was somebody very frail,
someone
really old and really frail, and actually couldn't get out of bed and needed a walker. And that's not, you know, it starts like probably pretty early on, like earlier than we think. Late 30s when your fertility starts to drop, you know, it's when your body starts producing less hormones. And then for me, early 40s. And women, like I said, get misdiagnosed for years and years, and it gets untreated. And that's when vascular dementia, osteoporosis, all those different conditions can happen. So it's all about just women being empowered to know what's happening, to recognize what's happening, to write that list, to go to the doctor and to push back.
Well, it's been so good to see you, Davina McCall, Mariella Frost, shouting from the rafters. Just brilliant.
I know, we keep shouting. Louder, louder.
But today we're going on a style journey.
Oh, we are.
How did you decide what you were going to put on today?
Well, I knew it had to be Amanda Wakeley.
Oh, thank you.
I'm lucky enough to have a few pieces from your collections over the years. I've got a lot of amazing suits. Like I love one of your. I've got this red suit that I love. You've got the red suit, haven't you? And I've got that version in
one of my
black. It's amazing. I've got a really beautiful, like a coat, and I've got a couple of dresses. So I tried on my suit, but then I thought, well, it's such a gorgeous sunny day. I need to wear a dress. So I put this on today. So yeah, it was easy. It was going to be Wakeley.
Brilliant.
Which
well,
one?
Thank you. So flattered. Do you remember, just paging right back to being a child, what your earliest memory was that clothes made you feel different?
I was really, and still am, into accessories. So I used to always over-accessorize. So I'd go to my nana's jewelry box and I'd put on her pearls and I'd put on all of her and I'd layer it up. And then I remember my cousin lived in Spain, so they had these beautiful little beaded bags, and I remember I just used to like crossbody bag with the pearls, and it was always over accessorized. And then a little flamenco dress, little spotty flamenco dress, which we had because she was living in Spain, and I used to wear that. But I was always had some kind of handbag, jewelry, and this is when I was like 5 or 6. This isn't when I was a teenager.
And did that feel transformative to you?
Yeah, I just loved it. It just gave me this, like, I just felt very grown up, very well put together. And I was just always into looking at little trinkets and little bits that I could adorn myself with.
Little magpie.
Little
in the
magpie
making.
from the beginning, absolutely.
Was Nan aware that you were borrowing her pearls?
Oh, yeah. As soon as I used to get to her house, I'd run upstairs and I'd get her jewelry box out of the wardrobe and I'd sit on the bed and I would just go through everything. Oh. It was my thing whenever I went round there. And then we used to go to pantomimes at Christmas with her. So it was like a long, very kind of evening dress, even when I was under 10 years old, 8, 9, 10 years old. And so it was always very dressy. So I loved it. I loved it. It was like a costume for me.
Was it more your grandmother than your parents that sort of impacted your early style, would you say?
I think it perhaps was, but my mum was really cool. I remember she had a lot of kind of, it was 80s style leather jackets, like kind of like Michael Jackson, quite structured with the shoulder pads. And I remember she had like a perm, and it was all very like 80s cool, high-waisted. Yeah, really cool. Lots of shoulder pads. So she dressed really well. My dad never spent any money on himself, and he still doesn't. But he had a really cool battered leather jacket, which I thought was just super cool. But he used to have high-waisted. He looked like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Did you ever borrow any of his clothes?
His leather jacket. Yeah, as I got older, that was my kind of... And he had some cool, really sort of worn lumberjack kind of shirts that just were super old and soft and threadbare, which I loved as well.
They just get better and better,
get better
don't
and
they?
better. And then he got rid of them both one day, the leather jacket, and I was like, where's the leather jacket? It's like, I gave it to a charity shop. I was like, no. Oh. And also my mum too, she got rid of everything, and I would love to have used and worn her clothes later on, like jumpsuits and all that kind of power 80s.
I know. I mean, the hoarder in me wishes I'd kept certain Alaya pieces from the 80s because, God, they were good.
They were really good. Yeah, I mean, I've kept bits and pieces for my niece and for me just to look at because, you know, clothes just bring you those memories. But I'm like, oh, I remember when I wore this on my 21st birthday. It's great to have an excuse
to hang on to something, isn't it? You famously dated George Clooney. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not going to ask about the relationship, but I'm fascinated to know how you navigated the whole red carpet experience when you were walking with him. Was he involved in what you wore at all?
No, so we only ever did... we did officially one red carpet for Oceans in Los Angeles. And no, he didn't have anything to do with that dress. I wore a Jenny Packham dress, white with kind of embellished with little silver kind of crystals and beads. Really, really pretty dress. I think I had a little pashmina as well. But no, I think I just tried it on and said, do you like it? And he was like, yeah, it looks great. And then the other one we did, I just had a little summery dress on, and that was in LA again. But we didn't actually do the red carpet. We just walked really fastly down the red carpet together, just like to try and avoid the paparazzi.
Was it intimidating, doing the whole red carpet thing?
That was a huge premiere. The Oceans one was really big. And it was obviously very exciting. But I just remember I got really excited because Prince came in and everyone was like, I was literally standing there with George and like Brad Pitt was there, and it was like, you know, and it sounds really flippant, but I was used to hanging out with them because we'd done the Oceans.
Yes.
We'd done a couple of the films and we spent time in Rome and Amsterdam. And I remember there was this big hoo-ha and a big fuffle on the carpet. And I looked around and it was like, Prince is here. And I was like, oh, Prince is here, Prince is here. So I remember I just got really excited and I just got very distracted watching Prince just kind of walk behind all of the interviews.
But your boyfriend loved that.
I mean, it's Prince, you know, everybody loves Prince. It's a legend.
Oh, brilliant.
But yeah, I mean, it was, you know, I still find red carpet quite intimidating now. I find
something about that sort of force of cameras, isn't it?
It's a lot. It's intense. It's the lights. It's the noise. It's they scream your name, and I find that I never find myself comfortable on the red carpet. I always get a little beforehand.
I find even me. I find my heart beats at a million.
It's not a natural.
No,
you know, it's not. You're just standing there and you're like, oh, and they're like, over here, and you're like, you're trying to suck your stomach in and get a good angle of the dress. You spend hours getting ready and you're like, God, I look like my eyes are going to be closed and I'm going to be like doing some weird face. So yeah, it's always intimidating, regardless of where you are in the world, whatever red carpet.
Now, on the counter to that is you spent 7 years as a DJ for Capital Radio.
Mm-hmm.
How did you dress for that? Because am I correct in saying that was sort of before a lot of social media and this is what I'm wearing to work pictures?
So in the beginning, it was very casual. Obviously, I still wasn't just going to rock up in my pajamas. And there will always be a photographer in the square when you left the building. So you kind of had to be semi-put together. And I've always loved my fashion, so it wasn't a problem. I'd organise my outfit the night before and get it all ready because obviously it's very early starts. But then they started incorporating the webcams into the studio. So then you almost had to look done. Camera ready. So in the beginning where I could kind of fathom what I was wearing and it would be fine. And then by the time the end of the show had happened, I'd have a bit of mascara on and all my sunglasses. And so when you left and the photographers caught you, you know, you were ready. But then they started to have the cameras on from about 7:30 in the morning. And we used to film the guests that came in because it became very like YouTube and, you know. So then I'd have to start like putting makeup on at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd be like, when we were playing the music, I'd start and so 7 o'clock hour, I'd do my bass. 8 o'clock hour, I'd put my mascara on. And then it was just slowly, I pieced myself together throughout the morning, which is frustrating because you'd just be able to, people were like, oh, you could just rock up. You don't have to bother about what you wear. And I was like, that's where you're wrong. So yeah, it started to get a little bit more high maintenance, I guess.
Did you dress the DJ part?
What does that mean? What was a DJ?
Well, you know, was it a bit rock and roll? Was it?
Yeah, I guess it was at the time. I did have I love my leopard print jeans and I had like a snakeskin kind of red pair and I do a lot of bikers and like kind of cool logo t-shirts.
So yes, you did.
I guess I did, but then I also would do like a cute little summery dress. I mean, this is like 7 days a week. No, 5 days a week, you know, like it was a lot and it was 7.5 years. So it was just like I had to keep churning out looks and I was on repeat a lot of time. I've always been quite sustainable with my clothing. But yeah, it was there was a lot of looks that I had to get through.
And then there was being a judge on Britain's Next presenter.
I was the host.
The host? Sorry.
I was the Tyra. I was the British Tyra.
Oh my goodness. So that must have had quite a few wardrobe pressures. Did you have a stylist for that?
Yes, we had a stylist. I had a really good stylist. I had a great makeup artist. And we were really into kind of creating a new look every final. So the final would consist of me with the other judges. And that's when one girl would go home. I always found it so hard. I hated that part.
Yeah.
Hated getting rid of these girls because they all became...
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I hated it. And then they were like, but this is a TV show. It's a cutthroat industry. And I was like, yeah, no, I appreciate that. But it was really hard. It's like, yeah, I know, but they do have feelings and they're going to go home and they're going to be mortified. So yeah, it was quite hard, but we did really focus on getting some major looks. Some of them, when I look back, bit too major, bit too strong for TV, like a really electric blue eye and a very strong line and like a major kind of basque. And it was fun. It was dressing up again, which I've always loved to do.
And those clothes were just borrowed,
they were borrowed
for that.
Yeah.
I mean, you've worked in and around the fashion industry all your adult life, really, haven't you? Mm-hmm. When do you feel you really discovered your personal style DNA?
That's a really good question. I think I've had moments throughout my life where I think this is definitely very... I found it. This is me. But I think it's probably been in my 40s, actually, when you just... you find yourself a little bit more, you know, and I was kind of less bothered about trends, less worried about what people think. And, you know, I used to always think, oh, I have to wear something new to this event, or I have to, like, you know, I could never feel comfortable or confident enough to wear something that I've already worn. Whereas now I totally do. So maybe this is my moment where I feel the most comfortable.
So if someone were to describe your style DNA in 3 words, what would you want those 3 words to be?
Effortless.
Love that word.
Which I'm not sure I can. I'd like to be seen as effortless. It is eclectic though, because I love my tailoring, but then I love to wear like a maxi and a bit boho. So let's do effortless, eclectic, and timeless.
Good.
They're big. I mean, for somebody listening to this going, that's rubbish.
No, I like that.
That's what I aspire to being. If somebody were to, sum me up in 3 words.
I saw something on Instagram the other day that said, you know, you've got to pick your words and you've got to buy ruthlessly to match those 3 words. And then your wardrobe will work. I thought, okay, maybe
I
not.
Try and be timeless now, because of the pieces that I've got in my wardrobe are pieces that I want to wear. So I've stopped hoarding. I got a new wardrobe built at the end of last year, a new kind of wardrobe room, a whole kind of room dedicated. And I just thought, I've got too much stuff. I can't find what I want to wear from day to day. And I needed to just strip it back, be more simplistic, and have items and pieces that I love that are timeless. And then it is eclectic. So I guess it is a mixture of those 3 words.
And did you actually do that organising yourself?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
Physically?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a huge culling. I had to get everything out of that room, which had been in there for 20 years. I know it was hideous. It took about 8 months. Luckily, it took that time to build the wardrobe or to design it. I took everything out, and then I have my 3 piles where I'm like charity, sell.
And did you try everything on?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
A lot of it doesn't fit me anymore, and a lot of it I just was hoarding.
But it's a great catalyst to saying, okay, charity shop.
Yeah, absolutely. All my sisters, all my friends, we're all different sizes, and so there's something for everybody there. But it's so great to get rid of stuff.
It's a brilliant experience, isn't it?
Yeah, and then I had this blank canvas, and then when they built the room, I could then only put things in that I really love and that I like. If you know, would you wear that today? Yes, I would. Or something that you think, oh. No, I'll wear it. No, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Yeah. I mean, talking about sizes and trying on, our bodies change.
Yeah.
You've talked about that a lot, openly. What would you say is the secret to staying stylish as our bodies change?
I think wear clothes that suit you. Try not to be too trend-led. Dress for you. You know, I hate all this age-appropriate thing. I hate that saying. I think that's just so rude.
I find it really obnoxious.
Yeah, really obnoxious. Wear what the hell you want, you know. But I think a good bit of tailoring is timeless, and I think that you can really smarten up any look and add that confidence to your whole demeanour, depending on how, you know, regardless of how you're feeling, with a little bit of tailoring. But yeah, I think it's like dressing for you rather than anybody else, and don't be too trend-led.
Good answer. Can we talk about bosoms for a moment?
We can. I can talk about bosoms forever, not just for a moment.
There is a reason why most high fashion models are pretty small or busted, let's put it that way. It's easier to dress. Clothes hang from your shoulders more effortlessly. But when you have bosoms, some cuts just don't work. Do you agree?
Oh, God, absolutely. So many things that I'm unable to wear. And, you know, some of your beautiful little spaghetti strap dresses in the past and just more delicate. Yeah, I can't wear them. I need scaffolding.
So how do you work around it?
I've got great strapless bras, really good ones, that don't give you 4 boobs and that don't move. They stay where your boobs and the bra, you don't have to keep hoisting them. So good underwear is key for dressing with boobs. And it's annoying because I do have to buy dresses bigger to cater for the boobs, and then sometimes I have to have them tailored around the waist and hips. But yeah, it's just about savvy dressing, and also just walking away from rails that you just know aren't going to work for you, which is hard sometimes. Some of those beautiful backless dresses and, like I said, little spaghetti straps and things. So yeah, I just walk away from that and I realize I just know my strengths and I know what I have to, all of the gubbings that goes underneath it.
So do you do a lot of deep V's, that type of
I
thing?
can't do too many deep V's either because some of the bras, the strapless bras don't allow for that. These Gossard Glossies, the one I'm wearing today, is a little bit lacy. That's quite a good one. This is quite a deep V.
Yeah.
It's quite a deep V.
I was about to say, you're wearing a deep V dress today.
But yeah, it's just about, I just have to basically buy things, try them on with my bra, or if I'm going somewhere, take my bras with me to the changing room so you can work out. So then you save time and you don't have to go back and return it and all of that. But yeah, I kind of can see now when I go to a rail, like, is that going to work? Is that going to work? Because I've been dressing for my boobs my whole life.
I mean, you've met so many brilliant designers. Do you have any particular memorable moments from working with any of the greats?
No, only I remember Emmanuel Ngaro was hideously rude to me, and that sticks in my mind.
About
in
what?
Paris because of my chest. I remember him hitting me in my chest.
No.
Like, because I was walking like this, and he wanted me to walk like he wanted me to be like concave, and I was like,
What, minimise your bosom?
and I just didn't fit his aesthetic. I don't think I ever would. And I remember him being really nasty, and I literally left there in tears and just got straight on the Eurostar home, and I was like, that's it, I'm done. I'm done with Paris. I'm done.
Oh.
There's only so much. And I was a kid then, you know, I wasn't even 20. And that's really brutal to be treated that badly, you know. But most of it was, I've got beautiful memories of modelling and the fashion industry and designers. There's just a little few snippets here and there, which obviously you remember more when you kind of talk about it. Probably just still need a bit of therapy over it.
Bit of PTSD.
Yeah, PTSD from Paris. But most of the time it was amazing, and I got to travel so much and wear beautiful clothes. And
Do you have a wonderful archive of pieces that you were gifted through? Because there was a time back then, probably when you first started, when you would perhaps be gifted in clothes rather than even be paid a fee for a show.
so I do. I have some tucked away. I've got some beautiful Cavalli bits and pieces when I used to go to Milan, and we used to get dressed for the show. Got some Fendi pieces, Bella Freud from back in the day, some beautiful shoes, little platform kind of slingbacks, and a couple of suits, maybe some Westwood. Yeah, I have got some bits and pieces.
So they're hoarded.
They are hoarded, but they're safely hoarded, and
They're archived.
they're archived basically, yeah, in the loft, if that counts. And then I always preferred cash. So I was always like, if it's a choice, I'll take the cash. I don't need the clothes. I love the clothes. I'll wear them for the show, but I'll take the cash. Thank you.
What do you reach for when you need to feel empowered?
It's always a suit and a good spray of perfume, a Rose Noir from
And
Byredo.
is it a trouser suit?
Yeah, always. Always a pantsuit. And I love a trainer with a pantsuit. Love it.
It's the best.
Simple
isn't it?
T-shirt, round neck T-shirt, beautiful cotton, nice bit of tailoring, done.
So who's your simple T-shirt by?
Eterne. It's a lady from Los Angeles. She does the best T-shirts. You have to check them out. She's got a whole range now, but they're beautiful cotton. She does black, grey and white, and you can do long sleeve, short sleeves. I like the short round neck. Stunning. She's a stylist in Los Angeles. She's fantastic.
Do you have a style icon?
I don't know if I do. I don't know if I do have a style icon. I do. I love Sienna Miller. I love a lot of kind of like British girls. I love Amanda Wakeley. Amanda Wakeley.
We'll keep that
No,
in.
I do. I've always. I love you, Amanda. You're my style icon. You know what? It's different women. I love kind of Julianne Moore. I think she dresses really beautifully.
Super chic.
Yeah, super chic. I love Isabel Marant though too.
Yeah.
I love her style. I love her. Always love her collections. Emmanuelle Alt. I think
Yes.
she's cool.
Yeah.
She's cool. That kind of effortless, timeless, bit rock and roll,
And a bit sexy.
sexy,
Yeah.
sexy older woman. Just rocking it. So yeah.
Do you think your style's changed through the decades?
Yeah, it's definitely changed. I think I've got more confident as I've gotten older. I feel like I've found my thing, which is, you know, good tailoring, a little bit of print. Yeah, it's definitely evolved. I think I don't know. I think I look back at pictures and there was some terrible fashion mistakes.
Oh, tell me.
I think
Any particulars?
Yeah, I think it was a couple of like premieres when I was like on the red carpet hosting, and I think I tried to go too themed. Like quite literally, I would dress like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo with the red cords and a little kind of pale denim jacket, and I was like, it was for the Scooby-Doo premiere, so I was like, okay, let me just go in theme. And then it was like Dukes of Hazzard, and I had like a bustier with a denim. Yeah, it was tacky and too themed, but I had a great night.
Have you been to the Barbie movie yet?
No, I haven't.
No, okay.
So
you've saved your pink moment.
I've saved my pink moment. I went to the Oppenheimer premiere instead of seeing Barbie. I think you're either Barbie or Oppenheimer. Very different films.
Yeah. And sort of as the years have crept by, how has your hair and makeup changed? I mean, do you intend to lob your hair off at any point, or
I go
this
through
amazing mane?
Thank you. I go through phases. I cut it last year when it was really thin. I'd noticed it from the menopause and from COVID, and it got really thin and was falling out quite a lot. So the ends of it were just gone quite wispy. So I cut it off quite short. I'm not precious about my hair. I think a good chop a couple of times a year is so good for it. So who knows? Never say never. I'm quite open to a change of hair. As far as makeup goes, I used to love doing a black flick. But now it's really hard to do it because obviously the eyes have moved down. So when I do it, I have to like really, and plus my eyesight's going. So there's all these fun things to contend with.
Oh, that's a magnifying mirror.
It's a magnifying mirror, but then you're holding your eye and then you're trying it. And then when you let the eye go and you're like, oh, so the lines don't kind of flick effortlessly upwards like they used to. I used to love that black line. So now I'm more about creams and like creamy, like nothing that's going to sit in the lines. More dewy complexion, creamy eye shadow that you can just blend really easy, a little bit of kohl, loads of mascara, that will never change, a good brow, and just like bronzing balms and blushes that are of a nice texture just to add that glow. We don't want to dull down that skin that's already fighting to be dull. Yeah. As you get older.
Yes, you're having a debate with it.
Yeah, I'm like, no, only creamy consistencies, please.
What is the one item of clothing that means the most to you?
Oh, I've got a little Isabel Marant leather jacket, which I love, which is really battered and old, and it's kind of got a cropped sleeve. And I love that. But I don't know, it's a tricky one. I'm not too hung up on, I don't know, I think it's quite good
Things.
to kind of,
Yes.
I try to be less, like attached to that sort of stuff these days.
Yeah, I thought of that when I realised my car had been nicked this morning.
You're like, car, who needs a car?
Only stuff.
It's only stuff, exactly.
I mean, you lead an incredibly busy life. One minute you're on television, the next you're modelling, the next you're promoting your book. You phenomenally organised about planning your wardrobe, planning your looks.
I am quite organised. I think now that I've got more organisation in my life with the closet, it's easier to get dressed, it's easier to pack, it's easier to plan, because I can go to my dress rail or my suit rail and be like, okay, that's going to work for that. And then it just takes that pressure off. Or if I've got a premiere and I think none of those dresses work, I need to borrow something, I'll then put that in motion. And I sometimes use a stylist because then she can just call in lots of bits for me and just take off that pressure. But that's kind of more premiere red carpet. The rest of it, I kind of do it myself and try to be organised.
And when you're not quite sure of how something looks, who do you most trust for an opinion?
George. Oh. My fiance's got amazing style.
Oh, that's so lovely.
I know, he's great. I'm like, can I borrow you for a second? George, and like yelling up to him.
Now, is he kind in the way he delivers?
Yes, he's kind, but he's also really quite frank as well.
So that's not quite your best look.
He's like, why would you? No, you've got so many other things. Why would you? It's like, no, you need to get rid of these dresses. They don't do anything for your figure. You need to show your legs. He's really brutal, but I love it.
Men are fantastically pragmatic in the way they deliver that message, aren't they?
Yeah, he's like, no more. He loves this because it's sort of, you can see. I mean, it's not like I want you to look really slutty or anything. That's not what he's saying. He just thinks, wear clothes that do something for your figure rather than some of these.
And show your best bits.
Yeah, show your best bits. So yeah, he's very honest and I always trust him.
Oh, that's lovely. And let's just talk about travel for a moment. Sort of as a well-known face, are you very aware of an airport look, what your airport look will be, that you'll be spotted walking through the airport?
No, I don't think about that. I think about being comfortable. Mostly. I love a kind of pajama suit, like a pajama, like, co-ord for a travel. And, good luggage, obviously. I usually take a little trolley dolly hand luggage with the zip so I can change clothes as well. So if it's a long distance flight, I'll have a change of clothes.
Please don't tell me you pack for 10 days into just a travel hold-all.
Not 10 days, but I have been trying to do hand luggage recently. So for like a 4-day trip, I managed to get everything into a hold-all, and I was so proud of myself.
What bag is this?
It's like a Louis Vuitton, just a little suitcase that goes in the overhead locker.
Impressive.
It's really impressive. It's so good though when you've worn everything.
And so what tips would you give for getting that absolutely right?
I would plan your looks. What are you doing? Where are you going? Are you going to the beach? Okay, take one cover up, one bikini for that day, change of clothes for the evening. Make sure that your sandals work multiple times throughout that trip. So you can only take 3 perhaps. Always take a comfy pair. I always love my Havianas because they're just super easy. And even though you take other sandals, it's just easy just to throw them on. Just a couple of cover-ups that really roll up easily. And then just be minimalist with your toiletries.
Yeah, that's one of the trickier things.
It's one of the trickier things. It's like you could buy your sun cream there. If you need it, although, a good face one is always good to take. And the HRT is the one that's usually the trickiest thing because obviously, they're getting the right sizes. And if you've got your big gel, which I've never had, I've always had the little Lenzetto spray.
Then you have to decant it. And,
all of that. But you know what? I travelled at the weekend. I didn't have to take any of my toiletries out of the bag anymore. You can leave them in your hand luggage. I was like, where's the little plastic baggy thing? Oh, where's the little plastic bag? And they were like, no, you don't need that. Keep it all in. I was like, yes, finally.
Yes, because I hate it when people say, well, it doesn't all fit in your plastic bag. You're going to have to throw something away.
No, and then I'll give it to George. I'm like, George, take this. Like, throw it in his bag. But you don't need to do that anymore. So I think it's just about being organised and planning your looks while you're away. And it's brilliant because so many times you've got your suitcase, it takes so long to pack, then it takes ages to unpack. And then when you pack it all back up and you think, I haven't worn that. And you're just like, what?
I get real stress about, what if this bag, I never see this bag again? Am I going to be devastated by what's in it? And then you think, it's stuff.
Yeah, it's stuff. And my tip would be, if you are going on a beach holiday, is always pack your favourite bikini and your cover-up in your hand luggage.
Totally.
Because then if you get to where you're going, at least you can just chill out by the beach all day or by the pool, get all the safe sun. And then because otherwise if you're shopping for a bikini...
There's nothing worse than shopping for a bikini in a hurry in
a strange place. And you're like, well, that doesn't fit. And I love the fact that you can buy different size tops and bottoms and mix and match and things like that. So always take your favourite bits in your hand luggage if you're checking in a bag. That would be my top tip.
Love that. Would you say you have a brand that's a guilty secret?
Do you mean like a high street brand or something?
Yes. Or a very extravagant brand?
I mean, I dip in and out. I can find something everywhere. I'm not very brand loyal. I do love, I can go to Zara. I can go all over the place. No, there's no guilty secret for me. I'm super open about where I shop, and I'll just go. I can find something everywhere.
Do you feel you've got an excessive amount of anything in your wardrobe?
I've probably got too many dresses.
Shoes
I've been quite good with recently because I think since lockdown, I barely wear heels. Or when I do, I'm in agony. So I've just started to just get rid of the ones that are uncomfortable.
The feet don't last beyond 2 hours, I find, since lockdown.
My feet have changed shape, or they've got bigger, or the shoes I used to buy were too small. I don't know what it is, but it's like, I just want to be comfortable. I don't mind a little ankle boot and a little heel, a chunky heel, but a tiny little heel where I'm kind of tottering around. I'm sitting there having dinner, I think, I really need to go to the bathroom. How many get from here to here? And I'm like, ow, 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 ow. Every step is painful. So I used to have excessive amount of shoes, and I've no longer purchased them. I've probably got too many handbags. I do love a handbag.
Love a handbag. Have you ever justified an expensive purchase with pounds per wear?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. I love that pounds per wear. For me, I'm like, and my friends were all really guilty of enabling each other to purchase things. We're like, when you think about it,
you're going to be using it all day, every day.
It's like, so yeah, I do that all the time. But with like beautiful pieces that are quality. Because I think if you buy quality, you're obviously buying less, hopefully, and you're living a more sustainable life, and you're buying things that you love and that you maybe pass down as well.
Talking about sustainable, what's your approach to sustainable fashion?
Well, I think, as I mentioned before, I used to always think I need to wear something new to every occasion. And now I think it's about quality pieces that you can wear time and time again and that kind of work together as well. So with your suits, you can wear the pants on their own with a beautiful t-shirt or a lovely blouse. The jacket, you can split it up and wear it with jeans, wear it over on your shoulders with a dress. I think it's about looking at your wardrobe and how it all works together, kind of more of a capsule kind of attitude. So yeah, that's kind of how I try to shop now. And that's my attitude when it comes to being sustainable. It's like quality pieces and less stuff.
Because as an influencer with 443,000 followers and counting on Instagram, you must get gifted all the time. I mean, how do you control what arrives on your doorstep?
That's quite tricky because I do get gifted a lot. And it's not to say I don't appreciate it, but sometimes there's just too much stuff. So sometimes people ask you, I'd love to gift you this. Are you open to that? And I have to say no, because I just don't want any more bits in my wardrobe. And I say, thank you very much. Maybe I'll check in with you in a few months if, I just try and be polite in that way because I don't want to be disrespectful, but there's just so much stuff. And beauty stuff too. Yeah. When one little product comes in a huge box and I'm just like, oh my God, this is such a waste. And then you feel so guilty because the recycling outside the house, people are like, Jesus, there's 2 of them living in there. So yeah, I'm more mindful of that for sure.
What do you do with your clothes when you've had enough of them?
I either re-gift them to people, give them to my sisters. I've got 2 sisters. I've got friends. I
You
give
must
to
be
charity. I love giving it to the local charity stores because we've got quite a few in our high street. And I really love when they send the email through to tell you how much they've raised through the sales of your clothes.
Oh, that's lovely. Which charity shop is that?
So the Heart Foundation, the British Heart Foundation, Scope. There's obviously Oxfam. There's quite a few on my high street, and I think it's just really nice to know that they're making a lot of money.
And you divide your...
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I try and divide it, yeah. And I just give them loads of stuff.
It's a great feeling, isn't it?
It's a great feeling.
I took some Wakeley in to...
Which charity shop is that? Everybody take note. Sitting anxiously outside the store.
And then I took something else in, and the girl in there was so sweet. She said, oh my God, all the Chelsea yummy mummies went absolutely bonkers.
I'm sure they did a whole window. And I've walked past the windows of the charity shops and they've put stuff in the window and I'm like, and it all looks really beautiful the way they've dressed it. And I almost want to go back in there and buy it back. I want to buy back my dress. I should have kept hold of it. But yeah, it looks great. And I'm like,
Do you ever sell?
Yeah, I sell.
In which platforms?
So I've sold on Vinted, Vestiaire, Circle. The Circle's a great one. It's a new one. It's CIRKLE. Yeah, definitely.
Do you have a particular piece in your wardrobe that means the most to you?
Well, I love the leather biker, and I'm trying to think. I think some of my suits, I just think they're so timeless. I just want to keep them looking lovely forever. But there's nothing that I walk in there. It's not like a Sarah Jessica Parker moment where I'm like, hello, lovely, and you kind of like wrap it around yourself. It's like, I have got some really lovely bits, but yeah, I'm not too hung up on any one. Am I? A couple of coats maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
But not one particular, was your father's jacket or anything?
No, I don't have anything like that, unfortunately. I wish I would have had some of the pieces that my mum used to have. And if I had my dad's leather biker, that would be treasured forever.
Oh. Let's move on to some quick fire questions.
Oh, I'm terrible at these.
It's all right. You can. I'm sure you'll be good. What fashion advice would you give to your 20-year-old self?
Where do I start? Oh gosh,
quick fire.
Okay, that's what I'm terrible at these things. So I'm always like, is it a yes or is it a no? It's just to say it. Just do you. Just do you. Just keep doing you. Just keep making those mistakes. It doesn't matter.
Which fashion trend would you most like to see make a comeback?
God, I don't know either. I told you I'm terrible at these things.
That's right.
Because I love the 80s, but I still am very much in that. I have a lot of sort of very faded denim, a little fluoro. So I'm kind of still got a tiny little bit of a raver in me still.
And the perm?
The perm I wouldn't do again, but I do curl it from time to time because I do love a curl. I always wanted curly hair. And I'm a boho 70s, so I love the 70s look a lot.
What fashion or beauty trend would you consign to room 101?
It would be the perm for sure, especially the spiral perm, that it just makes it super Shirley Temple and also changes the colour quite dramatically too, because it literally just annihilates every follicle on your head.
Your last impulse buy?
A little Chanel denim bag.
Quite an impulse.
That's a terrible impulse.
Your views on tattoos?
Do you know what? I love them, and then I think, and I haven't got any, and I am considering maybe a few little baby ones around my hand, but now I think I'm 51. Is it too late? It's a love-hate thing with tattoos. George has got a whole sleeve, and I do think they look fantastic, but just on the right person.
Beauty treatment you couldn't give up?
I love facial massage. I think just that hands-on treatment, just lifting, and Sarah Chapman do great facials there. So I think, yeah, good facial massage and lymphatic drainage.
High end or high street?
High end. Let's buy well. Buy
Bling.
once and buy well.
Bling or bear?
Bit of bling.
Couture or charity shop?
Charity shop.
Crocs, cute or puke?
I don't like them personally, but George has got 2 pairs. He's got bright green ones that he bought years ago, and then he was like, see, Justin Bieber has them. See, I told you I was ahead of the curve. And I was like, oh my God, really? So he's got bright green ones, which he wore in the street once to meet me, and I was mortified. And then he's got grey ones, and I've they're okay. They're a little bit more muted. It's like a dark charcoal grey, but they're not my favourite thing.
Sneakers or stilettos?
Sneakers all day long.
Bags or shoes?
Bags.
Skinnies or boyfriends or wide legs?
Boyfriends.
Bodycon or boho?
Boho.
Sports luxe or rock chick?
Rock chick.
Red carpet or relaxed?
Relaxed.
Experimental or uniform?
Uniform.
Cashmere or cotton?
Depends on the season, Amanda. I love a cotton, but I do love a cashmere as well.
Hoarder or editor?
Well, I'm in transition, so I'm a hoarder that's, trying to be minimalist.
Shapewear or sexy lingerie?
Sexy lingerie.
Tights or stockings? Or hold-ups?
Hold-ups.
Bikini or one piece?
Bikini.
Trilby or Tracy?
Trilby.
Finally, one last question. At the end of the day, what do you or don't you wear in bed?
So I love my pajamas, and I've got a great selection, but I usually wear them to bed and then I take them off because I get too hot. So my intentions are to go to bed in my pajamas and then I'm just naked.
Wonderful, wonderful. And if you could turn the tables and ask me one of these questions, what would you ask me?
Can I please look in your closet? Can I come and have a little rummage around your closet?
One day. That would be such fun.
I really want to do it. I'll come and film it. We'll turn the tables and I'll come and film you talking through all your pieces.
My goodness. Yeah, that would be fun. Lisa, thank you so much. You have been brilliant. It's so good to see you and sit here looking at you, looking resplendent, wearing Wakeley. Thank you.
You're so welcome, and thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure.